Hi, everyone. How is it going today? Welcome to episode 3 of Takeover Tuesday. How's it going, everyone? How was your guys' 4th of July? Did you relax? Maybe not so much. I know over here we had lots of fireworks. It was a very big firework weekend for us. Alrighty, but I'm going to go ahead and get started today. Our very special guest host is Rhonda Pierce from SCHMETZ. She's going to be showing us all about needles, how all the parts, all the ins and outs, everything that you need to know about needles, which I feel like needles are probably the most important part of sewing, right? I mean, what could you not learn, you know? Here we go. Let me go ahead and bring her on, and let's see what she's going to show us today. Hi, Rhonda. How are you?
Hello. Hi, Kennedy. Hi, everybody.
I'm so excited for you to be here today. Let's just get started. What are you going to be showing us today?
Well, you know what? Today I'm going to talk about the parts of I'm going to talk about some very basic things. The parts of the needle, how to read the needle pack, all those color codes on your needles. And the reason why is when you know these basic elements to your sewing machine needle, it helps you make an informed decision on what needle type and size to use.
Exactly. And I know for me, when I first started trying sewing, I didn't know. I was like, what do these numbers mean? You know, this and that and different things for different fabrics and, you know, all the different ins and outs. She's going to show us today real quick before we get started. Where can we find you? So where can they get to you and see more of you after today's show?
Oh my goodness. Well, I do have a personal blog, SewingMachinesPlus.com. So that's SEW morestitches.com. And I don't post every day. I'm not selling anything, but I do document what I'm making. In fact, this little dress that I'm wearing here today.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
you know,
so cute.
It is. I love the fabrics. I bought it on, can I say QVC?
Sure, yeah.
And it was a little too short. So what did I do yesterday on the 4th of July? Yes, I found some little chiffon ruffles and I added a hem. So now I can wear it comfortably
You made it work.
in the office.
Exactly.
So that's what you'll find from yesterday's post. And then today's post, well, I bought this dress in a white with splashes of blue and green, etc. And guess what? It was a little too short for the office. So yeah, I lengthened it too. So I'm going to wear that dress tomorrow. So you can check
good. New wardrobe.
Oh no, summer wardrobe. The other thing I'll
Right.
just mention is SCHMETZ Needles, all one word. We're on Facebook too. So on the first Wednesday of every month, I do a Facebook Live, free, no charge, and I always have a good giveaway. So join me at noon Central Time tomorrow on Facebook.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. You guys know she put it all there. I'll have it running across the screen so you guys can find more of Rhonda. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and let you get started. The floor is yours. If you guys have any questions, just comment them down below and we'll do a little Q&A at the end. Okay?
Yes.
All righty. Have fun, you guys. Kennedy. See you in a bit.
All right. So hello, everyone. And I hope everyone from the States had a wonderful 4th of July. Yeah, I didn't stay out too late just because I wanted to look good here today. Anyway, so I'm delighted to be here with Sewing Machines Plus. They are my friends. I'll probably see them later in the week in California at an event. So always pleased to work with Sewing Machines Plus. So what's my mission here today? Yeah, I'm looking to elevate your respect for the hardest 2-inch piece of steel in your sewing machine, the SCHMETZ needle. I'm hoping to remove any mystery you might have about the sewing machine needle while elevating your confidence in your needle selection. So you know what? This part isn't very glamorous. It's not sexy. It's not romantic. But guess what? You just can't sew without a SCHMETZ needle. So let's talk about some very basic things here. I have my SCHMETZ Super Demo needle. When I was traveling, yes, my luggage was always inspected by TSA. But now I'm traveling virtually, and this needle is 17 inches tall and anatomically correct. It's actually the 11 times the size of your regular home sewing machine needle. So let's talk about the parts of the needle, because again, when you're aware of the parts of the needle and their function, it helps you make an informed decision on what needle type and size to use. And as I go along, as you have questions that pop up, go ahead and type those in the chat, and Kennedy will try to communicate those to me so I can answer your questions today too. So my needle's on a little wooden base for display purposes, but I think even virtually, you can see at the very top of your needle is a beveled edge. And you might think, oh, so what? A beveled edge. Well, now let's stop and think about that. A beveled edge. When you go to insert your needle into the needle holder, you don't have a lot of wiggle room, right? So the top of your needles is beveled for easier insertion into your needle holder. Our home sewing machines require a flat shank. The back side of your needle is flat, again, for perfect positioning into your needle holder. You have a little transitional area, which is referred to as the shoulder of the needle. And I hope you've noticed that your needles have either 1 or 2 bands of color. And I'll talk about those color bands shortly. We have the length of the needle, and this is referred to as the blade of the needle. And SCHMETZ, being a German company, actually measures the diameter of your needle. So they'll get a measurement like 0.70, 0.80, 0.90, etc. They take that measurement times 100 to come up with the sizes that we're familiar with. Sizes 70, 80, 90, etc. So the SCHMETZ size is based on the actual diameter of the needle, the actual measurement of the needle. So that when you know that, that might help you remember needle sizes and what it means. On the front of your needle, there's a groove. You can actually see and feel the groove on your little 2-inch piece of steel. But how many of you know what the purpose of the groove is? The groove is going to cradle your thread so it moves evenly and smoothly down the length of the needle to the eye. Your thread should not be flip-flopping back and forth. Nope, nope, nope. You want your thread to move evenly and smoothly down the length of the needle to the eye so you get a nice clean stitch. We have the point and the tip, and these change according to different needle types. And then on the back side of the needle, how many of you have noticed this little indentation above the eye? This is referred to as the scarf of the needle. And the scarf has a very important function. When your needle passes through your fabric and your throat plate, the bobbin hook has to come up and catch that top thread in order to create the stitch. So your bobbin hook needs passing room so you can complete that stitch. And the scarf length, width, and depth will change according to different needle types. So let me go ahead and just try to share some slides here. And let me see if this is going to work. Picture in a picture. Let me try this here slide. There we go. And Kennedy, can you see that? Because I'm kind of guessing you can't.
We got you. You're good.
Oh, you do. You can see that. Okay. Can you see it as full screen then?
You're good.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, oh, now the clicker's not working. Okay, so click, Kennedy, if you'd click to the next slide, please.
You're gonna have to click on it on your end. I don't have.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Just you might want to hit present, and then it'll get it right at the top, I think.
Okay, this is not my first presentation. Maybe it's my first presentation after 4th of July. And really, except for a little bit of limoncello, I didn't drink. You know what? I'm going to try to share this again.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, we tested this before and it worked.
We did. The Wi-Fi friends are back for us.
And, okay, here we go. Upload.
Okay, let's try it. How's everybody enjoying so far? Everybody learning something new? How are we liking Rhonda?
Okay. Oh, wow. This has really gone bananas on me.
Oh, we've got a special visitor. It's Kyle.
Okay. There. Okay. Oh, it says processing.
Okay. We're processing.
Yeah. Okay, that's the way it goes. You know, when you sew, sometimes you got to get the seam ripper out.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's get you in here.
Now,
all right.
Slide number
Perfect.
1. Okay, here we go.
Sorry to sneak in here, guys. I'll see you back in a bit.
Okay, here we go. So here are your parts of the needle. Again, at the very top of your needle is the butt. You've got the shank, the shoulder, the blade, the groove, the point, the tip. And I haven't mentioned the eye yet. And I consider the eye to be one of the most important features to your SCHMETZ needle. Let's take a closer look at your eyes. Your everyday needle, the universal needle, the eye is 40% the width of the blade. But look at the eye of the embroidery needle, and you can see that the eye is wider. And when you look at the eye of the metallic and top stitch needles, you can see that the eye is not only wider, but also elongated. So when you're sewing, what does a larger eye mean to you? A larger eye means there's less stress on your thread as it's passing through the eye of the needle. So if you have problems with threads that are breaking or shredding, well, what do? Well, you need to change the needle, and you may need to change to a different needle type that has a larger eye. So I hope I've solved a little sewing situation that we frequently encounter, threads that break and shred. Yeah, just change your needle or change to a different needle type and size that has a larger eye. Let's next look at the SCHMETZ color chart. Yes, since 2014, you find either 1 or 2 bands of color on your SCHMETZ needles. But I want to make sure you understand how to read the chart. So on the left-hand side of this needle, we find the column is labeled needle type, and you'll see all the different SCHMETZ needle types for our home sewing machine. And there's a color assigned to many of the different needle types. Now look at the column on the right-hand side under needle size, and you'll find all the SCHMETZ needle sizes are assigned a color. So let's look at that needle between the 2 columns. The top color band identifies your needle type. So on this sample here, the top color band is yellow. So what kind of needle is this? Well, we look off to the left and we find yellow is a stretch needle. Back to our needle between the 2 columns, the lower color band identifies your needle size. So this is a rose color. So what size is it? Well, we look off to the right and we find rose is size 7511. So this is a stretch size 7511 needle. Now, let me just walk you through a couple other examples. My favorite go-to needle for all kinds of sewing, piecing, quilting, etc. is a Microtex size 8012. So Microtex, what color would the top color band be? Well, we look off to the left on this chart and we find Microtex is purple. And for size 8012, we look off to the right on this chart and we find size 8012 is orange. So Microtex size 8012 has a top color band of purple and a lower color band of orange. One more example would be, what if your needle has two bands of orange? What needle type and size would that be? Well, we look off to the left and we find orange is a jersey needle. And we look off to the right-hand side and we find orange is size 8012. So two bands of orange will be a jersey size 8012 needle. Now, there's one more thing I need to point out about the SCHMETZ color chart, and that is in the left-hand column under needle type, the very first needle listed is a universal needle. But guess what? There's no color. And in fact, the color block is actually X'd out. So what does that mean? Universal needles have only one band of color, and that's to identify your needle size. So if you have a universal size 8012 needle, you have just a single band of orange. Or if you have a universal size 9014, you have just a single band of blue. So I hope this SCHMETZ color chart helps you identify your SCHMETZ needles, especially after you've taken them out of the needle package. And again, you can kind of date your SCHMETZ needles by the two color bands. The two color bands were instituted in 2014. Okay. Oh, Paula, thank you for your comment. She says, I'm doing a great job explaining. You know, sometimes I can't always read the comments when I'm talking, but I can grab a couple. So thank you. Okay, so let's scoot along because next I want to talk about all those numbers on your SCHMETZ needle pack. How many times have you looked at all these numbers and letters and you wondered, what the heck does all of this mean? Well, at the bottom of your needle pack, I think most of you recognize the needle sizes or size. So on this example here, we have multiple sizes or assorted sizes. We have sizes 70-10, 80-12, and 90-14. But how many of you have looked at your needle package and you've seen that number above the size and you wondered, oh, what the heck does 130-705H mean? Well, don't let that number intimidate you. 130-705H is your needle system. Think of it as a model number. Needle system 130-705 means the needle has a flat shank that 99% of all of our home sewing machines require. The H translates from a German word that means scarf. That little indentation on the backside of your needle that allows the bobbin hook to catch that top thread in order to create the stitch. So needle system 130-705H is a flat shank needle with a scarf that most, I'll say 99% of all of our home sewing machines require. Now, I point out that needle system number especially because with long arm machines, they may use a different needle system. Or with some of your larger quasi industrial business embroidery machines, they may use a different needle system. So it's good to keep an eye out for the needle system. Again, needle system 130-705H is a flat shank needle with a scarf that 99% of all of our home sewing machines require. So I hope that removes some of the mystery about that number. Okay, let's scoot along here. Above the needle system, you find the needle type spelled out. So these are universal needles. Above that, you find the SCHMETZ name. And because of the clear packaging, you can see the color bands. So we already learned on that SCHMETZ color chart, green for size 70-10, orange for size 80-12, and the needle on the far right is a universal size 90-14. Again, that universal needle has just that single band of color to identify your needle size. One more slide here that looks just a little bit differently. Again, at the very bottom of your needle pack, you find the needle size. So this is size 90-14. Above that, you find your needle size. So these are the needle system. So this is 130-705H. It's a flat shank needle with a scarf. But look at that line. Look at that needle system line a little bit closer, because there's an additional letter, -E for embroidery. On some of your other needle packs, you might find a -Q for quilting, or M for microtex, or J for jeans, etc. So there's lots of information on your needle system line. Above that, you've got the needle type spelled out. So these are embroidery needles. Above that are the German words for needle, which you don't find on all of your needle packs, but still today, you'll still find the German word on a few SCHMETZ needle packs. You find the SCHMETZ name above that. And again, above that, through the clear packaging, you can see the color bands. So on this sample here, the top color band is red, red for embroidery. And the lower color band is blue, blue for size 90-14. Wow, we just covered a lot of information. Noreen said she needed to know all of this information. I'm so glad. Gail is so happy for the information. Yay. Okay. Belinda says now it will be easier to identify the needles. Okay, so that's it for my slides. Today, I'm just talking about the physical needle. So, Kennedy, were there any questions that came up that you can...
Let's see. I know someone said, what is the type for sergers? So any recommendations for sergers?
Sure, let me talk about the Serger needle. In fact, let me see. I probably have a pack of Serger needles here handy. Okay, so Serger needles. What needle do you use on your Serger? Well, first of all, you need to talk to Sewing Machines Plus and find out what needle system your machine uses. If you can't do that right away, you need to get out your owner's manual. Yes, get out your owner's manual. Or if you don't have the owner's manual, I want you to go Google the make and model of your serger and find the instruction manual. And you can get that information for free. And you've got Sewing Machines Plus, so use them as a handy and free resource also. They've got lots of knowledgeable people there. So in your owner's manual, these machine companies don't make finding this information very easy. So you need to find out what needle system to use. Sometimes you find it under troubleshooting. Sometimes you'll find the needle system to use on the section how to change the needle. So there's a couple little places, and sometimes you have to hunt really hard. But if you've got your serger right in front of you, there's another way that you can do that. When you flip open the front cover of your serger, you should find an imprint or a sticky label that will tell you what needle system to use. Some of our sergers will use a needle system 13705H. That's just the needle system that our home sewing machines require. On other sergers, you might find needle system ELX 705. ELX 705 or ELX 705CF. So here's a package of the ELX 705. Now, what's so special about needle system ELX 705? Well, I got my giant needle here, and I pointed out on the anatomy of a regular sewing machine needle, we have a groove right here on the front of the needle. But needle system ELX 705 has a second groove, and that's on the back side of your needle. On the back side of your needle is a second groove that allows you to make some of your specialty threads. Now, let me give you a real life example. I have a Serger, which I love, and I can say the Serger name because I know that Sewing Machine Plus sells baby lock machines. I have a baby lock. And at the front of under the front cover, it says use ELX 705 CF, CF just for chrome finish. But I know from talking to my local machine dealer and also to my sewing and surgery buddies that I can use a regular home sewing machine needle. For some of my stitches, I can use a regular 130 705H needle, the same needle that my sewing machine requires. So if I'm sewing on knits, for example, I might start with a stretch or a jersey needle. Okay, just like my home sewing machine, I'll use a regular stretch or jersey needle. But if I start to make wonky stitches, well, then I'm going to do what Baby Lock tells me to do. I'm going to use the ELX 705 needle, just as the manual suggests, and that will take care of any wonky stitches that I've got. So, you know what? Use your whatever your machine owner's manual says. Talk to Sewing Machines Plus. Sometimes you've got a little flexibility and you can use a regular home sewing machine needle. But when you've got the problems, use the ELX 705. So I hope that answered your Serger needle question. Yeah, sometimes you have options. Okay. What other
I'm
questions?
looking to see if I can find some more questions. Let's see here.
Oh, I see there's a question. Jessica's asking about a twin needle. Well, guess what? When if you go to SewMoreStitches.com that I mentioned, my personal blog that I posted yesterday about this dress here, and I found some, it's probably like 5-inch soft ruffle with a ribbon finish. So I attached that to the hem of this dress. And because it had that ribbon finish, I actually used a twin needle. So a twin needle, let me see if I've got one here handy. Oh, yes, I do have a twin needle handy. A twin needle are two like needles on a single shank. So right here I've got, let me take it out of the packaging so it's a little bit easier to see. Here I've got a twin embroidery needle. So I've got two like needles on a single bar. So this needle here is, these two needles are size 75. The distance between the needles is a 2.0. So here's what the packaging looks like. At the very bottom, it says 2.0/75. So that first number is the distance between the two needles. The second number is the needle size. So yesterday when I was attaching the gathers to my hem here on this little dress, I used a 4.0. So a 4.0 is going to be wider than this 2.0. I used a 4.0/90, so size 90 needle. And I used just a straight stitch. If you've not used a twin needle before, you're going to get light stitches, parallel stitches on top with zigzag on the bottom. So the twin needle, yeah, it's a way to embellish. It's a utility stitch also, and it can be a lot of fun. Over the years, what I've learned is that people, especially with older sewing machines, don't realize that they can use a twin needle. So just like a regular sewing machine needle, The twin needle has a shank with a flat shank on the back. So again, you just go ahead and insert this, and then you need to make sure that your throat plate is wide enough to accommodate the width of the needles. Now, if you've been sewing with a single hole throat plate, guess what? If you use a twin needle, you're going to break both of your needles. So you need to change out to the wider needle plate in order to make your stitches. So, yeah, universal needles have the widest assortment of twin needles. The finest or narrowest would be a 1.6. And then the universal goes all the way up to an 8.0. So anytime you're working with like a 4.0, 6.0, 8.0 wide twin needle, sometimes you need to actually provide support to the fabric so that the needle doesn't push your fabric through the throat plate. So you might need to use some interfacing or some bias strips, something to support your stitches so your stitches aren't tucked into the throat plates. Oh, so I was also going to just mention the other needles that are available in twin. There's jeans needles available in a twin. There's metallic, stretch, and then there's also a double hem stitch. A double hem stitch. And since I have a sample handy, I'll show you what that needle looks like. Well, I think I've got one here. Some of you might be familiar with a hem stitch needle. This is what the packaging looks like. The generic name for a hem stitch needle is a wing needle. So when the needle goes through the production process, they apply a master die in order to create the eye of the needle. And then all that excess steel oozes out from that die and creates little wings. So on your wing needle, the wings are actually just refined so that you can stitch beautifully with this wing needle. So this needle is oftentimes associated with heirloom sewing. But guess what? If you like to quilt or make multimedia quilts, this would be a really fun needle to use. Your fabric needs to be a little bit less tightly woven, but again, if you're doing multimedia, this could be a fun textured effect that you can use. So the reason why I bring up the hem stitch needle is because there is a double or a twin hem stitch needle. And there's no way that you could get two hem stitch needles through your throat plate. So there's a twin hem stitch, where you have a hem stitch needle with a regular universal needle. And now you can use this twin needle for some interesting stitches. So again, if you've not tried the hem stitch needle, give it a try, experiment, and you might want to first try just stitching on some loosely woven fabric, batiste, or something loosely woven, just to get the hang of the needle. Okay, wow, twin needles, good questions. What else do you have for me, Jennifer?
Okay, let's see. Yeah. I know a lot of people were asking what's the difference between universal and embroidery. Okay. So maybe just a little bit of the differences between those two. I know I don't really know the difference either. So
Right. And well, that's why I'm here today. So the universal is the workhorse of all needle types. So I always suggest that you have universal size 80/12 and 90/14 in your sewing stash, because wow, it's the workhorse of all needle types. But with SCHMETZ, you've got options. So I always like to say you might be able to find an even better needle type to use. So your universal needle has a slightly rounded point. The embroidery needle also has a slightly rounded point. But the difference is that the embroidery needle has a larger eye. a larger eye so that when your thread is moving quickly back and forth through the eye of the needle, there's less stress and you'll have less shredding and breaking of your thread. So the primary difference between universal and embroidery is the ball point. The slightly universal has a slightly rounded point. The embroidery needle has a light ball point. So embroidery has a light ball point and an extra large eye. Wow, I almost fumbled that. Okay, what else
did
do
great.
we have?
You did great. I've learned so much. I'm just sitting here watching you with everybody else like, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know about all of these different things.
First of all, if you want to experiment with needles, Sewing Machine Plus has some great bundles for you. You can go into the store or you can go online, and let me just quickly walk you through some of the bundles that they've got. So they've put together some bundles for piecing and for quilting. There are 5 needle types for piecing and bundle. So if you go online and search SCHMETZ, SCHMETZ bundle, and you're going to find 4 different bundles that they've got. So the piecing and quilting bundle, I'm not going to go into detail this time because I think I'm coming back and I'll be talking about specific needles. But if you want to experiment for piecing and quilting, there's the piecing and quilting bundle. So we've got the universal needle in assorted sizes. We have the jeans needle. We've got the top stitch, the quilting, and the microtex needle. So this is a great sampler for piecing and for quilting. They also have a bundle for sewing with knits. And if you haven't sewn with knits in a while, I encourage you to do so because knits are fabulous to sew on. They're not like that double polyester of days past. But part of the success of sewing with knits is using the appropriate needle. So they have a sewing with knits bundle. It includes the jersey needle in assorted sizes and the stretch needle in 2 sizes. For if you like to do machine embroidery or machine applique, maybe you like to sew with vinyl, or maybe you're doing a multimedia quilt and you're working with fusibles, sticky stabilizers, there's the super non-stick bundle. So the super non-stick bundle, these needles look a little bit differently. And because that needle has a non-stick surface, guess what? These needles don't have any color bands. So you'll need to remember what needle size you're using. So this bundle includes 1 pack of super nonstick of each of the 4 sizes. So sizes 70, 80, 90, and 100. So again, super nonstick, a great needle if you do machine embroidery, machine applique, anytime you're working with sticky stabilizers, splash fabric, oilcloth, hoop and loop tape. Yes, hoop and loop tape. That odd fabrication called hoop and loop. These work beautifully. And then there's one more bundle, and that's for machine embroidery. So again, this would be like a little sampler pack. This machine embroidery pack has the super nonstick in size 70-10. It has the embroidery needle in 75 and size 90, and the titanium embroidery, the only titanium needle that SCHMETZ has currently for our home sewing machines. So each of these bundles, first of all, they're priced really well, and you'll want to get your hands on them. But each of the bundles also includes the little luggage tag with the SCHMETZ color chart. So you can attach this right to your sewing machine, or if you're not traveling, just hang it from the bulletin board in your sewing room. The bundles also include the ABC Pocket Guide, which is the foundation to my SCHMETZ classes. So the images that you saw here earlier about needle anatomy, and then this wonderful picture about the eyes of the needle, you'll find that right here in your little needle booklet. And the other thing I want to also just mention is if you want to get your hands on this little print version, yes, it's more than promotion. It really is a needle Bible. So, but if you can't wait to get into the store to get this, you can go to either the iStore or Google Play, and you can download the free app. And the free SCHMETZ app, just type in SCHMETZ, SCHMETZ, and the free app will pop right up. One of the things I like about the app is it includes, just like here in the print version, a little alphabetical guide to what needle to use with what fabric. So in the print version, there's about 60 some fabrics alphabetically listed, but in the app, there's over 80 fabrics. So now you don't have to remember what needle type to use with all the different fabric options that we have. Now the app is looking a little tired these days, so our hope is to get it updated before the end of the year. If you're an app developer, please get in touch with me. We're looking for somebody to update our app. But here's the thing. Needles don't really change that much. So all the information that you see on the free app is still current. So might not look as pretty as we would like, but the information is good. Now, there's one other thing I want to mention. I think somebody asked about, how do you identify, how do you keep track of your slightly used needles? Well, hopefully you're throwing your used needles away. But if you happen to be juggling projects and let's say you're making a quilt and now you need to make an emergency t-shirt for a little kid and you know that original needle is still good, what do you do? Well, our tendency is take that needle out of the machine and set it off to the side. And then when you come back to it, to your original quilt project, and then should I have thrown that needle away? Is it still sewing worthy? If it's still sewing worthy, you need to keep better track of it. So there is a product called the Grab-It My Pad, the Grab-It My Pad. And I think many of you are probably familiar with the Grab-Its, the Grab-It magnetic pin cushion. Well, this is a mini Grab-It that I have handy right here. I love the Grab-It sewing tool company so much. I went back to the office and I said, we have to buy that company. So 7 years ago or so, we bought the Grab-It sewing tool company. And one of the products that they had was the Grab-It My Pad. It worked great. But you know what? Last year, I updated it. And I know this is the My Pad that is at Sewing Machines Plus. So what's this all about? This is a great way to organize your slightly used needles so they're not just loose in a pin cushion or on the side of your table. It's an extra thick piece of felt, and then we imprint all of the different SCHMETZ needle types, and we updated it with all this using the SCHMETZ color chart. So blue for jeans, red for embroidery, etc. Then within each needle type, there's a cell for each of the different needle sizes. So here's a universal. The smallest needle size is 60/8, and we go up to 120/19, and then there's a cell for some of the twin needles. So it's a great way to organize your slightly used needles. It also comes with this handy little flower head pin. So if you have some of those older SCHMETZ needles before 2014 that don't have the color codes, the color bands, once that you take that needle out of your package and put it in your machine, you can use this flower head pin to identify, to remember what needle type and size is in your sewing machine. So again, if you go in and I think if you just search My Pad, MYPAD in one word, I think it comes right up. Or go into the store and ask for it. So, I keep one right next to my sewing machine. I have it standing up next to my lamp. And actually, in December, I had some time off, and my pad was full of slightly used needles. And I decided in December I just wanted to sew recklessly and not worry about skip stitches or precision. So I embellished 16 sets of hand towels or towels with the hand towel and washcloth, and using up scraps from dresses, tunics, quilts, etc. So now I have a very unique towel sets in my bathroom. So again, I use my slightly used needles, and just an idea for you. Okay, wow. Well, this has gone over 30 minutes. So,
You were
Kennedy.
awesome. You were awesome. No, I swear I've been sitting here just watching you, listening and learning all of this stuff, because needles, I feel like they go unnoticed, and it's time we gotta educate ourselves on which needles, because I'm
Well,
sure there's been so many times where people don't know what ones to use, you know?
when you start to have problems with your sewing, what's the first thing you should do? Yeah, switch
Change
out
the
the
needle.
needle, because oftentimes that will take care of problems. And even if you take your machine in, you think, oh, there's a problem with my machine, and you take it in for repair, what's the first question the tech is going to ask you? Oh, when's the last time you changed your needle? So
Yes.
really that 2-inch
Yes.
piece of steel can solve some huge problems.
Yes.
So hopefully next time I'll go through the clues to change the needle, because I'm not here to just sell you more needles, but I want you to have a really fabulous sewing experience, because sewing is fun. And part of
Yes.
that is using the appropriate needle.
Yes, I can tell you there have been so many times where I've been at our stores and people have brought in their machines for service, and they're like, I don't know what's going on. It's skipping stitches and it's something happening. And we switch a needle and we try it again and it works perfect.
Yeah.
So
The
if you
thing
ever
is,
have issues,
if you haven't changed your needle in a while, don't feel bad.
we've all
Because
been there.
we've all been there, we've all done it. And here's the deal. You know what? We get sidetracked. We get sidetracked by all those beautiful fabrics, the projects that we're making, the designers, the lectures, the books and patterns that we've bought. And the thing is, I want you to have that same quality experience right down to that 2-inch piece of 2-inch piece of steel. So just change out the needle. So my personal mission is to make needle education memorable and exciting.
Yes, and you did just that. You were amazing. I was looking at the chat and they all were like, "We needed this. We needed this." So, perfect timing. And like you said, we will be having Rhonda back soon. So, stay tuned for that. You can learn a little bit more about needles. But Rhonda, thank you so much for coming on today. I had so much fun. If there's any more questions, I think we got a lot. We got a lot of info in there. I will go ahead and let you go, and it's time for some giveaways. So
Okay,
let me get
everybody,
on
thanks
into
for
that.
using SCHMETZ.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
yes.
So
Bye.
SCHMETZ.
Have a good day. Bye. See ya. Okay, it is time for some giveaways. Who is ready? So our first giveaway, we are going to be giving away a sew mat. Ooh, right here. There we go. We have, I think, about maybe 14 to 15 different colors with different sizes. So with different machines, you can use it. I have one right on my desk. You can't see it, but it's a red one. And I use it. It works as a mouse pad. There's so many different uses for it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this on here, and we're going to go ahead and do a draw, okay? Are we ready? Who's ready? The suspense. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Stephanie H. Stephanie H. Congrats. You just won yourself a brand new sewing mat. So what you're going to do, I'm going to put the website up here real quick. Go ahead and head to smplive.tv, and there's going to be a form right there for you to fill out. Just put in there that you came from Takeover Tuesday today, and we will get that in and pick the color and the size that you would like, and we'll get that mat shipped out to you. Okay, our next giveaway is going to be, this one's pretty exciting because we were just talking about needles. So we're going to do a $25 gift card, and you can redeem that on our website, or if you're local, you can go to our stores and we can get you that gift card in person, but this is a perfect way for you to try those needles and get a bundle and try the new needles that you now are you've learned so much about. Isn't that exciting? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and draw. Ready? I don't know. Are we ready? Okay, let's see. Who's it gonna be? Louise Richardson. Louise, congratulations. You just won yourself a $25 gift card. So go ahead and head to smplive.tv. The website is right down below. Fill out the form and we will get you that gift card, and you can use it on anything on our website, and you can get it on there, and we can get it all set up for you, and you can try those needles if you want, and you'll get that ABC pocket guide and that chart, so that way you never have to worry about the colors of needles again, right? So much fun. Okay, so I am going to, let me remove this real quick. Now I'm here. Okay, just a couple of announcements real quick. Tomorrow, make sure you tune in on this YouTube channel right here at Sewing Machines Plus, on our Facebook, as well as, I said YouTube already. Tune in tomorrow to our brand new show. We've got Stitch Nation starting tomorrow. So Stitch Nation is going to be a new show where we bring new faces on and teach, and you can get to know the crafters behind the community, learn a little bit more about them. So tomorrow we're going to have Cindy Moncada come on, and she's going to teach you how to make tutus. Right? There's Kyle again. And she's going to teach you guys how to make tutus, and she's going to be using some industrial machines tomorrow as well. So that'll be fun to see the new machines. And then also Thursday, SMP Live every Thursday. You know the drill. But other than that, I hope you guys had a really great weekend this weekend. I know it was a little warm this weekend. I don't know how it was on the other states, but it was pretty good here. It was a pretty good weekend. But other than that, I think I am all good here. Noreen said, Kyle must want a tutu. I think we should try. I think we should get Blaine and Kyle some tutus. What do you guys think? Should we do it? I'll try and convince them. I'll try. But anyways, I am going to let you guys go. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'll be here hosting Stitch Nation. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys. See you later. Bye. Let me get out of here.